Okay, in this video, sometimes when you start a new programming language or use a new IDE, people, when they teach you, they either figure that you have some experience like they do. It's hard for them to teach you without erasing all their experience. But sometimes it's just nice to step through the whole process and see it. And that's what this video is going to do. The other thing that it's going to do is at this time, there currently is an Arduino IDE that's been used for quite some time, and it's what most people use. There's a beta version out that's probably going to replace the old version, and there's some nice new editing features in there. I'm not going to show you all of them, but I'm going to develop a very simple program and go through the whole process and download it to the Arduino and have it run in both at the same time. So I'll do some cutting and pasting where it makes sense, but I'll be typing in and showing you some features. So that's what you see up on the screen right now. On the left-hand side is the existing Arduino IDE interface. On the right-hand side is the newer beta version, which is going to take over and add a lot of nice features. Once again, I'm not here to show you all the features, but we'll hit some of them as we're entering a program in and doing it. So when you bring up a new program, file new, this is what you get. And you get sort of a template, maybe not enough of a template for me to like, but at least it gives you the setup portion of the code, which only happens once, and the loop portion of the code where you put your code that goes over and over and over again. It just executes in a loop as you go along. There's probably a few more areas that I would call a template, and I'll show you those as we're entering them in. So the left-hand side, the existing Arduino, the right-hand side, the newer version. And by the way, if you go here to File Preferences, it is a beta, so hopefully it'll stay the same. If you go to File Preferences, you'll find out right now in the beta, this Editor Quick Suggestions, which I want to show, isn't checked. It unchecks every time you do it. They'll certainly fix that eventually, but I wanted to show you that. Also, too, I think I've set the compiler show verbose output during the compile and the upload. I think I set both of those. And a lot of people seem to be enamored with this dark screen, so I chose the dark version of the IDE screen instead of the light Arduino one, which is the default. So I made those setting changes, and that made this appear differently with what you see on the screen. So one of the real nice things is these little down arrows. If I click on them and I'm clicking in sequence on them, they close or open the function, the related block here. So void setup can be minimized or expanded, which is really cool. A nice feature when you're dealing with programs, showing them to other people, or you get these bigger programs till you go. So to enter a program, I always put a comment and a description at the top. So to me, I'm going to hit an enter key a couple times and put a multi-line comment in here. And you'll always see me do this. I put my name or the file name, probably the first thing, because I'm getting older and it's harder for me to find. I might enter my name and the date, and I might give this program a revision in case I'm making a whole lot of changes to it. Let me do the capitals so I'm maintaining consistency. And I put all this in here. You'll notice this does auto indenting. And I'm going to close out my comment. Now, also something that you'll see me do too is when I open a block, I usually close it right away. So if I went back up here, my normal method for entering this would be to hit an enter key right away and close that block out. That way, I know things match up. I know what's going on. That's a big problem that people new to code run into. So I'm going to put name, date, and revision number back in here. And I don't know that there's anything exciting that occurred there during the new version of the program. But to me, this is also another part of what I would consider the template. These always have these in here. So the nice thing is if you'll notice here, I can close and open that block. That's pretty darn cool until it's there. So I'm going to cut and paste this into the older version. I always make this the top of the program. That's part of my template. And I hit that in and I get that. The other thing that they don't have here at this point, and this is where you want to declare them. If you're going to put any variables in the program, this is where you're going to want to do it. This is probably the best place. C lets you put them a couple different places. We don't need any variables for this program. I am going to use the tab key. And we'll just say X, Y. I don't really need these, but I am going to put them in there. And rather than use the space multiple times, I'll hit the tab a couple times. And I'm going to put a comment in here. And I'm just going to make it very general. Okay, so any variables and things like that, you want to go up here. You'll notice I used the single line variable or single line comment, and I'm going to cut and paste that and also put that in here. Once again, I consider this part of my template for writing a program. The only bad thing here right now is I don't really need those variables for the program that I'm going to write. We're just going to turn flash some lights on and off. Just the simple blink program that you have for the example file, except we're going to type it in to show you what to do. Now, another thing that needs to happen, especially with the new IDE version, we didn't select the board and the COM port. And you need to do that because in these preferences section, where I did editor quick suggestions, they don't work unless you tell it what board you are before you start typing things in. So I've already sent to and worked with an Arduino Uno, which means that it shows up at the bottom, the board and the port combination shows up, and that's all ready to go. If you didn't do that, and this was the first time, you'd have to go to the boards manager. You'd have to hunt for install it so that your Arduino Uno board is supported, and that is the Arduino AVR boards for Arduino. You see I've already installed this. It says that it's installed. Some of these boards down here, though, are not installed. And if I was using one of these other types of boards, I'd have to install the software to do that. The old software, you added them and put them all in, and you ended up with a big list here. The concept here is only install what you need. Okay, over here on the old software, we would choose the board from the boards manager, and the Arduino Uno is already there. A lot of boards show up as standard, a lot of them, and you got to find the one on the list. The other thing you got to do is go to tools and choose the port, and hopefully when you plug your Arduino in, it's recognized. So I'm going to get rid of the boards manager. You'll notice that tools and boards manager is where you found it before. The new Arduino puts it on the left hand side. Also, the library manager is there. We're not going to get into that at the beginning, but at least you know it's there. And if you have any other libraries that you need for the program that you're writing or working with, you put them in there. Okay, we don't have any extra libraries. We're working on a very simple program. So we have our variables in. Any definitions that you want probably should go up here too. We're not gonna work on that or go that deep right now. So I'm gonna go into this setup area, and what I'm gonna do is set the pin that I want to do. So you'll notice now as I'm typing here, things come up for me, right? If I type PIN mode and And to do that, hopefully things are assisting me. They don't seem like they're assisting me too well right now, and I think as I type LED built-in, which is the light internal on the board, instead of giving it a specific number, it's the default light for the Arduino. That should come up, and it did before, and it doesn't right now, so a little disappointed, but that's a bug in the software. But also too, as I type output, since this is all caps, and that's part of the command, that should come up too, and it would let me to instead of typing the whole thing, see what my options are, hit an enter key and type that in for me. So very disappointing, but that's a feature of the new software. Just doesn't happen to be working at this time. So that's the only thing I really need in this void setup area. We said that this is it didn't happen too well, did it? So I'm going to undo that, get back down to where I want to, and paste that back in on my original Arduino side. Remember, in the setup is like it says here in the template, put your setup code here. It's only going to run once, so you only want to define the pins to be inputs or outputs one time. You don't want that happening over and over again during your program. So that's the right place to put it in. Now, the rest of the code will start once again on the newer version of the software. The rest of the code, what we're going to do is turn these things LED on and off, and once again, how disappointing that the autofill and whatever isn't coming up for me. But I see here now it is, so you can sort of see how it works. I started to type LED, it's all LED built-in. If I hit enter, it fills the rest in for me, and I get real fast at typing these things, but they should come up right away. I have no idea why it's not, and that's a bug in the software, and I'm sure they'll fix it. So I want to turn this LED on, and I want to put a line comment on there that says turn the LED on. Oops, I keep on getting on the wrong row, so and I can just say and I didn't write this program, I'm just entering it in so you can see what's there. So remember to put your semicolon in for each command. This is a comment, that's the end of the line. I hit a return and I come down here. And then I want to delay for a certain amount of time. So I start to type this in, and it doesn't look like it's gonna do the thing for me. But we know that you can delay a certain amount of milliseconds. I want to delay a second, so that's 1,000 milliseconds, and we sort of know that. So I'm going to hit the tab key a number of times to get me over here to keep all my comments lined up, and I'm going to have an end of line comment because I want it to expire. I'm just going to say wait for a second here. Okay, I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to do the digital write again. And now you'll notice it comes up. It's suggesting to me you might want to do this digital write. I'm going to hit the enter key. It's going to fill it in for me, and it's going to make everything a little bit faster. Once again, LED built-in. I down arrowed to select the LED built-in, and I want to make it go low this time, so I'm going to type low in. I'm going to remember my semicolon after the command. I'm going to hit a couple tabs, and sorry for the video getting longer. It's probably the fact that I'm not the fastest typer in the world. And doesn't look like I'm a great speller either. And after I do that, I'm going to want to delay again. So here I go. I start typing. It comes up. I see it. This auto suggesting things. The nice thing is that you don't have to remember all those commands that's there. So I'm gonna put my comment here. And I'm just going to say wait for a second. By the way, the alternate to this this new feature, bringing up some of the options that are available to you, the alternate method with that was if you went and found the reference or a cheat sheet that showed you all the commands. So I did some Google searching for Arduino cheat sheet PDF. This is a pretty common one that you see here. Here's one from SparkFun. SparkFun and Adafruit usually have good learning materials. And then here's the Arduino reference. So you could put these up on your screen and use them that way instead of printing out these little cheat sheets to have beside you. But what they're trying to do with the new code is, as you type, give you those options and show them for you. So we have everything that we want in the loop here. I'm going to copy this code. Hopefully I've done everything right. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to tab in and I'm going to paste this code in here. And it looks like we got that main code comment in there, and I don't need that twice. So I have it all ready to go. And what we need to do now is send it to the Arduino. So we already selected the Arduino Uno board. That's what I have sitting here connected to my laptop. And we could check the code here to verify it. And since I have it on verbose, it's going to show me a lot of things. And since I did them all correctly, I don't have to do it. But if I did have an error, hopefully these things would help. The beta version doesn't quite have all the errors worked out. But I also could just upload it, and that will also compile the program, and it'll give me all those messages, and it'll say upload complete. And I didn't think it was useful enough, but I can show you that the light is flashing correctly on my Arduino. And we can look at this code. By the way, you can change the size of this output window. You can drag it a little bit smaller. It works better on the older version of the software. I'm sure that's something they're going to fix up too. So if I wanted to delay this and have it on for 3 times the amount of time, I could change the delay code to 3 seconds. And I could upload that again. It has to recompile the program because a change was made, and it sends it up again. And now the light is on for 3 seconds and off for 1 second. And that gets you through the whole process of creating a program, sending it to the Arduino. It took a little bit longer because we did it with both software. And by the way, the old and the new software, compiling the code, just to check it, they call it verify, or to compile it and upload it to the code, looks exactly the way on the old and the new. So I won't do it for both. But gives you a little flavor for the new software. Also shows the existing software gets you through the whole process the very first time. And hopefully this video will fill sort of a niche that I don't see happen too often. Also, too, remember when I talk, you should look at example code. There's the only way to cheat is if you just copied the code and didn't do anything with it and learn. But when you learn programming, you should be looking at example code. When you work with an IDE and a complex number of steps, 5 or 10 steps to get through something to get your code up there, sometimes it's nice to see that. And that was the whole purpose of this video. Hope you found it helpful. We'll see you with future topics.